Hey guys, it's Rick. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you my card for the March Craft Month Challenge from rubberstamps.com. This is a collab with them. So here are the products that they sent to me. I got a sheet of the Bug Me Anytime stamp set, a Remarks pigment ink pad, some adhesive dots, and some paper. I've stamped that out onto my preferred color pencil paper. I'm going to be using my Artistico premium colored pencils today, and I've started off by coloring the black of where the stem, because I stamped it in black, so the stem's going to be black. So we're going to cover that with the white pigment pencil in that set. If you have this set and you want to completely cover your image with the white, I would suggest getting a Prismacolor white. It's like the best white pencil on the market. Now I am using 3 different colors of green. I'm using lime green, basil green, and forest green to color the stems and leaves. I just picked 3 different shades of green, a light, medium, and dark, and I'm using very light pressure to start out with, and I came back now with a heavier hand. I'm sorry, that's pistachio green. For my flowers, some of them I colored with peach blossom as my darkest color, peach blossom, peach as my darkest color, and coral pink. I had to think of the name of it. So I've started off with just my light hand. Anytime you color with color pencils, you want to start light-handed first. And if you notice where my hand is holding the pencil, I have a very light pressure on that pencil, so I don't fill in the tooth of the paper. Color pencils is all about layering, especially to get that seamless look. So you want to build up your layers over a certain period of time. So I came in there and I'm using my darkest color right here. That is the peach color. And I'm just adding in my shadows real lightly. And then I'm going to come back in and start building up my layers. And I'll just work in the reverse, same way I started. Lightest color, filling in, going over what we previously did. And then our next lightest color. And remember, with color pencils, you can't judge the pencil casing. You have to look at the lid to know the color. That's why coloring pencils is great. It's super helpful if you swatch everything out. And by that, I mean putting it on a piece of paper and writing down with the color and showing you what the name is. I've used pastel yellow, yellow, and pear yellow for the center of the flowers. Now for my leaves, I am going in with my lightest color, which is the lime green. And I'm going to map out my shadow areas with that. So I'm just coming in with the very light hand. And I'm only showing you one of each item that I colored. And then I colored the rest of them off screen. All right, so that is the mint color. That is mint. And then we are going to come in with that pistachio color and color over that. And then I'm going to throw in a little basil and a little forest green also. And I'm coming back in with a slightly heavier hand there to start blending everything out and getting that nice smooth transition. That's the thing about color pencils. Sorry, I had to cough. That's the thing about color pencils. You want to start lightly and not fill in the tooth of the paper, like I was saying. That way you're going to get every time you come back and add more layers, you're going to get more and more depth in your coloring. All right, I zoomed in a little bit closer for us. So I'm coming back in with my heaviest application of color now on these leaves. And you can see what a difference just starting out lightly and then building up those layers has done. It makes it look completely different. And I've not even filled in the tooth of the paper yet. All right, I'm adding in that darkest shade. And I believe that is forest green, but it could be peacock. I don't remember. I colored this like last week. All right, so we're just going to blend those out with our next lightest color. You just pick your 4 shades that you want to use, or 3 shades, and go with what you got. Don't worry about, you don't have to buy the most expensive stuff. Use your stash, and it's great. But the whole point of this challenge, let's get into that. The whole point of this challenge is to be able to take stuff that you were selected with to get, because we didn't get to select. It was like a little mystery box. So when the envelope came, I had those items in my cart, in my little box. I had the Bug Me Anytime stamp set, a piece of white cardstock. I don't know what kind of white cardstock it was. I had a piece of the Four Seasons 4 plaid paper the pattern paper from Hobby Lobby. It was the plaid pattern that we used on Monday's video. If you missed that, I'll link to that above. And the little card. Excuse me. I had a 4x4 stamping block, a remarked small black pigment ink pad, and some adhesive back pearls. And so I was supposed to take and create a video using these things and challenge myself to create a card with something I have never seen before. And then I could add in things from my stash. And rubberstamps.com are the sponsors of this whole thing this month. So if we like to thank them, and make sure you head over to their website and check out what they have to offer. They have some cute little things over there. No, and that's not just a shameless plug. That was just, it's cute. They've got some cute stuff. All right, so I'm doing my ladybug now, and for that I started off with burgundy as my darkest color, and I'm using imperial red and crimson red as my two other shades. So I'm just coming in with my darkest shade, and I'm blending that out now with that imperial red, and then the crimson red is my lightest color. And like I said, you can't go by the names of these pencils because they're completely different than everything else. But they work great. I had fun playing with them. All right, so I'm coming back in doing my next layers and building up that depth to our images with our colored pencils. So here is the imperial. So we're going to come in and blend all that out. I'm just coming right over everything, layering all my colors together with a slightly heavier hand. This is probably using more of a medium touch here. And then I'm coming in with the crimson and filling all the rest of it in. Now, I'm also going to come in with the white pencil in just a second. And I'm going to burnish over everything that I colored with that. This way, by adding that layer of white over what I've already done, and this is just the white pencil that's in the set, it allows me to come back, burnish everything down, which just means you kind of smooth it out. There's also a burnishing tool that you could use, that you can get from like Prismacolor. But I just smooth the pigment out onto the paper, and then I'm able to come back in and add a second layer if I wanted to. I'm going to add in some cream and some white, and I did add in a little bit of pink in those off screen to add into the highlights because it would be reflected into the highlights since it's a red little ladybug. Now, since I've got all my images colored up, I'm going to work on my background panel. So I'm writing in my favorite cloudy stencil and using speckled egg ink to ink blend my start of my scene, the sky little scene, because we're going to make a scene card. I mean, I know y'all are shocked. I like scene cards. Hey, you can't go wrong. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to blend in our last little set of clouds, and I added some speckled egg under that, just what was on the brush. I'm going to come in now with cracked pistachio. You can see Lucky Clover up at the top, but I just ended up deciding not to use it. I'm just going to do 2 layers of the grass. Make sure I get it lined up back up where it was because I let it slip. Come right back over the rest of it and blend that out. And I'm going to set that off to the side. And I'm going to pull in a little piece of cardstock that I'm going to use for my sentiment. And I'm going to cover that with speckled egg. And by the way, the white cardstock that I used, that I got in the kit, I actually attached to the back of the pattern paper to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to come in now. I'm putting a piece of peach cardstock, I think it's peach sorbet from Spellbinders, in my Misty, and I'm going to line up my inside sentiment and the other ladybug, and I think I used the heart. And from that set, I'm going to prep those stamps, make sure I got the sentiment nice and lined up because it was a little off, so I had to redo it. Now I got to line it back up. It's life. So I'm going to take and stamp that down, and I used Sunkissed or Peach Fuzz ink from Pink Fresh Studio. I don't remember. Everything's listed and linked in the visual supply list that I used to create the card. So you can find that in the description on YouTube below. And remember, if you use the links, those are affiliate links, some of them, And I do make a small commission from those, which is no cost to you, but it does help keep everything going on the channel. Everything, I really appreciate your support when you use my links. All right, so we're going to stamp our sentiment down on a little piece of ink blended paper that I've let dry. I'm using Hey Lady, and I'm just stamping that with the Remarks Black Pigment ink. And I'm going to pull everything off, crease my cardstock, and start building up my scene. So I've added my pattern paper that I've backed with that white cardstock onto a piece of mint cardstock. And I'm going to attach that to my card front. And I just happen to have some of the perfect colors that matched everything. So now we're going to take our little piece that we created our little scene on. And I probably should have matted that now that I'm re-looking at this card. I probably should have matted it in like the mint or something to tie it in a little bit more. It would have been cute. Hindsight's 2020. All right, so I'm going to lay out where I kind of want my images to go and start adding my foam tape. I'm not going to attach anything really yet. At least I don't think I do. Yeah, I did. So I went ahead and attached my flower. I'm using 3mm foam tape for that, and also on the big ladybug. Well, they're all kind of big, but this one was the biggest one. I thought it would look cute sitting on the flower. So I'm going to attach her. I guess it could be a guy. Anyway, I'm going to attach this ladybug right onto the flower like it's sitting on there, having a little snack. And I'm going to start arranging my other flowers. And you can see I colored them in different colors. And I did add a mint leaf also. I needed to tie them in again somewhere. And then leaves are going to be different colors. So it's nature. There's different colors out in the world when you're looking at leaves. So everything works together. Don't be afraid of that. All right, I've kind of laid out everything where I wanted it. Now I'm going to put in the card back in my Misty. I need to stamp my little bee trail or ladybug trail. Then we're at the one that's flying. I'm just going to stamp that twice or 3 times onto the card front. That way I can add my little ladybug right up there. And I'm going to pop her up in just a minute. After I add the rest of my flowers, I'm going to strategically place them around the scene of the card, and they do come over the frame, which is perfectly fine because that it ties it into the background paper, but adds a little bit more interest and keeps your eye flowing. So don't be afraid of that. So we're just going to pop in the rest of our little flowers here that I've cut off screen, and I did fussy cut all these out. They don't have dies, but they do offer rubberstamps.com does not have dies for their stamp sets, but they do offer SVG cutting files. So just so you know, because I do have one of those. I just haven't used it yet. So I'm going to pop on some foam tape, and I'm going to switch to the 1mm foam tape for this ladybug because I didn't want it to sit up as high as our ladybug and flower in the front. I wanted it to be stepped back a little bit to add some more depth, but not as flat as the flowers. So I'm going to take and pop those little backings off and drop them in my little cup over there and put on my sweet little ladybug. And you can see how beautifully, after burnishing those colors, how nice and smooth that was. Now I'm going to add my sentiment, and then I'm going to come in and add my little adhesive back pearls. And for some reason, Rick could not find his pickup tool. He stuck it somewhere else. And I think I found it the other day, and then I think I've lost it again. I need to really put that in the same place. Do y'all lose stuff in your craft room or wherever you make your projects? I lose stuff all the time, y'all. It's like horrible. So one of my little adhesive back pearls got stuck over on my little container, and I just pulled it off. I think I had 5, and there's a look at my card. You can find all the details of this card and the full supply list on my blog, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Love you.